Ati hei mauri ora. Nā reira kia whai korore honore hariruia kia ihoa ngā mano. Matua tama wairu tapu me ngāna hera pono, me te maangai anō hei tau toko mai, ai anei ākenei ai. Nā reira kia koutou, ngā mana ngā reo, e ngā kārangatanga maha, nau mai haramai. Nau mai haramai i rungi te karanga o tēnei a tātenei huihuinga, tēnei a tātenei kaupapa whakahirahira, o tira te whakamana, te timatanga o ngā kaimahi o te kaunihera o Waitaha. Nā reira tēnei te rawaroha o ngai tuahiriri e tuku atu nei kia koutou i tēnei wā, nau mai, piki mai, kake mai rā. Huri atu kia koutou e ngā kanohi, e ngā mema o te kaunihera o Waitaha. Tēnei a tuahiriri e mihi kau atu, e mihi ana kia koutou i runga i te whiwhinga o koutou nei tūranga i tēnei rā. Nā reira kia koe tō tātenei mea, tēnei te rawaroha o tuahiriri e tuku atu nei kia koe huri noa, kia koutou ngā kanohi maha katoa, kua tau mai nei i rungi te karanga o tēnei a tātenei huihuinga. Huri noa kia koutou, ngā mana ngā reo, rauranga tira mā, tēnei rā ka mihi atu kia koutou i tēnei wā, kāre torohia ngā kōrero, mihi ana āti hei mauri ora. So just in brief translation, firstly, offer the blessings of the Father, the Son and the Holy Spirit among us all, and opened our hui with whakamoemiti here this evening. And to you all who have come, welcome here, welcome on the call of our gathering in our hui this afternoon. And on behalf of Tuahuriri, to our mayor, to our councillors, we say congratulations and welcome. Mihi ana kia koutou katoa, just a big mihi and acknowledgement to you all. Won't say too much more. Mihi ana kia koutou katoa, huri no tēnei a tātenei whare, tēnā koutou, tēnā rā tātou katoa. If you know the waiata te aroha, please be upstanding and feel free to sing along. Kia ora tātou. Aroha te whakapono me te rangi mari e tātou e. Nā reira, kāpiti hono tātai hono te hungamate ki te hungamate. Kāpiti hono tātai hono tātou te hunga ora ki a tātou. Mihi ana kia koutou katoa huri no tēnei a tātenei whare, a tihei mauri ora, kia ora tātou. E noho.
Tēnā koutou katoa, ki na manawhina o tēnei wā, tēnā koutou. Tēnā koutou mō te koutou e mihi whakatau e tēnei hui. Roto aku kupu, ka nui te mihi ki a koutou. Kia ora koutou. Welcome to this first meeting of the new term of the Christchurch City Council. Since the earthquakes, Christchurch has grown to be one of New Zealand's most dynamic and livable cities, a testament to our community's resilience, vision and hard work. Yet the journey continues, and today marks the beginning of a new chapter. As Mayor and Councillors, you carry profound responsibilities to safeguard the infrastructure the city relies on, to manage the finances wisely, delivering real value for money for every ratepayer dollar, to foster jobs and opportunities for all, to strengthen social cohesion, to protect our natural environment, and to build a city where everyone can thrive. Every decision you make matters. Every choice shapes the life of our city and the lives of our people. As staff, we look forward to working alongside you. Our shared duty as elected members and council officials is to serve the people of Christchurch. Thank you for your commitment to the city and the future. It is now my privilege to declare this meeting open. Thank you. I now call on the Mayor to join me on the stage and make his declaration.
Right, I've got speech a bit later on. This is my declaration. I, Philip Simon Major, declare that I will faithfully and impartially and according to the best of my skill and judgment execute and perform in the best interests of Christchurch, the City of Christchurch, the powers, authorities and duties vested or imposed upon me as Mayor of Christchurch City by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information Meetings Act 1987 and any other act. There. Thank you very much. And before I start, I'd just like to say it's very good to see Carol Evans here, who used to keep an eye on me when I was at primary school, just down the road from her house, so she's put up with me for a bloody long time. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Good afternoon, everyone. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome you all to the inaugural council meeting for the new term. Getting here has taken commitment, hard work, and the trust of our communities. So congratulations to each of you. To all councillors and whānau who support you behind the scenes, a very warm welcome. I know firsthand that our work isn't done alone. I couldn't do this job without the unwavering support of Chrissy, our children and our grandchildren. And I'm certain many of you feel the same about those who are here supporting you today. It takes a collective support, strength and patience especially, of those who love us to ensure that we can do this job. So thank you all for the role you play and thank you for being here today. I also want to thank this opportunity and thank Mary. Thank you for your support, guidance and leadership of the ELT, the wider management and the staff of the council. Your steady hands, sharp mind, and our collective sense of humour have been exactly what we need. And I am so grateful you're here. I'd also like to acknowledge and extend a huge amount of gratitude to Pauline Cotter. Pauline, the support, knowledge and mana you brought to the role of Deputy Mayor cannot be understated. I was so thankful to have you next to me during my first term, and I know you'll continue to contribute in a truly meaningful way around the council table and our city. Thank you. I'd also like to acknowledge council staff. We couldn't do any of this without them. To all the teams who support me and other councillors to do our jobs, democratic services, comms, media, and my office staff who look after me very, very well. You manage all our meetings, you keep us in line, so a big thank you in advance for all the work and pressure we're going to put on you for the next 3 years. To those staff through council who will provide advice, write reports, and come talk to us to ensure that we have all the information we need to make good decisions. Thank you. We know demands are high, and we don't take your dedication for granted. And to every staff member across the organisation who brings our decisions to life, keeps our services running, and represents the council with professionalism and care every single day. Thank you. I'm very much looking forward to working together over the next 3 years to keep Christchurch moving in the right direction. Councillors, I had the pleasure of meeting with each of you this week following the election, and I found each one of those conversations was a positive, constructive, and left me feeling incredibly optimistic about the group and what we can achieve together. I certainly believe that far more unites us than divides us. In my experience, leadership is not defined by what we're against, but the clarity and purpose and the courage to pursue that purpose. It is defined in what we stand for, what we choose to support, what we choose to protect, grow and believe in. Now, we're all here because we all love this city. So, as well as acknowledging everyone here in this room today, I'd also like to make a special mention here of Sarah Templeton. Sarah ran an excellent campaign and demonstrated time and time again her intellect, passion and commitment to Christchurch. She served as an elected member for 12 years, first as a community board member, then as a councillor. It takes conviction and quite a bit of bravery to run for office, so thank you, Sarah, for your long service to the city. And well done to all of those who put your hand up and participated in the recent election. Now, I got into local politics because I have a strong desire to leave Christchurch better than I found it, to ensure the legacy we leave our children and grandchildren is one that we are proud of. Christchurch is buzzing. There is a momentum and positivity here that's seeing people from other cities and other countries choose Christchurch for their home. But it is our job to ensure we maintain that energy, growth and prosperity while delivering core services our residents deserve and expect. As a council, we need to remain high level, strategic and city focused. You've all been on the campaign trail and listened to what people need and expect, so let's work together and get this right for our community who have elected us to be here. Let's build on what unites us and work respectfully together in the best interests of all our residents. Now, the people of Christchurch have put their faith in me to lead the city, and I take this responsibility very seriously. I intend to remain focused on getting the basics right for our residents and keeping our service levels at the standard that we need, economic prosperity for our local businesses and continued investment in the city, affordability for those who live here, ensuring our transport functions are sensible, accessible and provide value for money for all who need to get around the city safely, and pursuing new and innovative ways to reduce our carbon footprint and keep our city focused on environmental challenges and climate change. And I want to lead this council and this city with focus, positivity and compassion. So together, let's form a really strong team and build on the shared sense of purpose I know we all have. Congratulations to you all. We have a lot to do around the council table, so let's have a wonderful term and let's get to work. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Thank you. I'd now call Kelly Barber to come up and make his declaration.
I, Kelly John Ashby Barber, declare that I will faithfully and impartially, and according to the best of my skill and judgment, execute and perform in the best interests of the City of Christchurch the powers, authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a member of the Christchurch City Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987, or any other act. Good afternoon, everybody. In an alphabetical speaking order with a surname like Barber, you're always going to have to be ready. I much preferred it when I was at school, when there were names like Abernathy, Addison, Aitken and Bamford in my class. I really just want to thank a few people. I particularly want to thank the people of Burwood for putting their trust in me and voting for me. I think they appreciate the hard work that I put in. They're good people who really care about this city. I want to thank my colleagues from the last term who were very generous with advice and passing on information that was really useful in dealing with residents and understanding complex issues. So thank you, really appreciate it. To my wife and family for their support and encouragement, particularly my wife Melissa, who's been absolutely fantastic. She comes from a Canterbury clan that has been here for a long time, the Morehouse clan. There's a statue of one of her ancestors in the Botanical Gardens, and she loves the city as much as I do. And I'd also like to thank publicly all my friends and delivery people who helped me get re-elected. I also particularly want to mention the council staff for their help over the past term. Our council staff are absolutely amazing. They are incredibly generous with their time and the information that we need to communicate with the people of our ward and the city and explain things, and I find them absolutely fantastic to deal with. Looking forward to this term, I think Christchurch is in a great state at the moment, and it is continuing to improve, and I think we've only got things to look forward to in the city with the opening of the new stadium and Parakiori and all the other things that are going on. We've got a budding aerospace industry, which I've had the privilege of being a part of, so I'm really excited to see the future. And I'd just like to finish by saying personal thanks to my Lord and Saviour Jesus Christ, who drives me to do these types of things, and I want to honour him in the work that I do. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'll now call on David Cartwright to come up, please.
I, David John Cartwright, declare that I will faithfully and impartially and according to the best of my skill and judgment execute and perform in the best interests of the City of Christchurch the powers, the authorities, the duties vested in me or imposed upon me as a member of the Christchurch City Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987, and any other act. Thank you very much for coming along here today. It's a great honour and a privilege to be standing amongst my colleagues and all of you here. I'd like to thank my family, particularly my partner Claire, who's here today, for allowing me this opportunity to serve the city. I would like to echo the comments made by Philip Mayer, the Mayor Phil, in and around how Christchurch is buzzing and is a hive of activity. I look forward to continuing that momentum. I look forward to working with the Christchurch City Council staff, and I again echo the sentiments of Kelly. In my years of experience in the Community Board, they have been faultless in presenting opportunities to us and information. I'd also like to offer an apology in advance to my partner Claire for the late night phone calls, the interruptions and the many emails that will no doubt arrive at home in the later hours of the evening that I'll have to attend to. So apologies in advance. Thank you.
Right, I now call Melanie Coker to come up and say us thank you. Good to see you again.
Ko au a Melanie Sue Alenda Coker, me taku kupu tēnei. Ka tutaki ia hau, ki taku e pono nei, na kawinga katoa. Hei pāinga moa te tuaoni o tatahi, e runga e te mana, kua rero mai ia hau. Hei mema e te konahere o te tuaone o tatahi. Nā te nako pai o te turi ka wanatanga arohi, roa mano maroa, te turi parongo, huinga o kawa ka wanatanga arohi, ko tahi mano, iwa rau, waru te kaumawhitu, me e tahi atu turi rānei. I, Melanie Sue Alenda Coker, declare that I will faithfully and impartially, and according to the best of my skill and judgment, execute and perform in the best interests of the City of Christchurch the powers, authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a member of the Christchurch City Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987, or any other act. Tēnā tātou katoa, ina mana, ina reo, ina karangatanga maha o te motu tēnā koutou. It's a real honour to stand here today as part of this new council, or the old council with a couple of changes. I want to begin acknowledging my fellow councillors. Congratulations to each of you on your election. I also want to thank our outgoing members, Sarah Templeton, who we saw earlier today, and James Goff, for their service and commitment to our city. They leave large shoes to fill, but Nathaniel and David, I'm sure you're very much up to the task. To everyone who supported me and our team during the election, whether by voting, volunteering, or simply sharing ideas, thank you. I carry that trust very seriously. I also wish to acknowledge the staff who keep this organisation running every day, often behind the scenes and sometimes in front as well, and they're our key partners in the work ahead. Without you, we as governors can get nothing done. We have big challenges before us, managing growth and infrastructure, tackling climate change and affordability, but we also have incredible opportunities to build stronger communities, restore trust in local government, and to make decisions that put people and place first. I believe progress happens when we listen, collaborate and act with integrity. And over this term, my commitment is to continue to be open, accessible and focused on practical results, the kind that make a real difference in people's lives. So our city deserves leadership that unites rather than divides, and it looks not just to the next election, but to the next generation. Together, I know we can build a resilient, sustainable and thriving community. Ngā mihi nui, thank you all. I'm looking forward to getting to work for the people of Spraydon, the people of Otatahi Christchurch. It's a privilege to serve you all.
I'd now ask Pauline Cotter to come up to the lectern, please.
I, Pauline Francis Cotter, declare that I will faithfully and impartially and according to the best of my skill and judgment execute and perform in the best interests of the City of Christchurch Ōtautahi the powers, authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a member of the Christchurch City Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987 or any other act. So, tēnā koutou e hau mā. Nā mihi ki te kaupapa o te rā, no Ōtautahi ahau, ko hatu opani, taku kāinga, ko Sani, Lana, Millie, me aroha, taku tamariki, ko te amorangi o Innis ahau, ko Pauline Cotter taku ingoa, whakatō mai ki te kaupapa o te rā, no reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. It's great to be back. It's a bit like having the band back together, except for the two new members. Welcome Nathaniel and David. It'll be great. It's a bit like we can just pick up where we left off and like we don't have to sort of get up to speed. We can just hit the ground running, and we will. Congratulations, Mayor Phil, on being re-elected. I don't know how you did it, but you did it. And thank you very much for those very kind words. I do appreciate that. No. Look, I know we will have some challenges ahead. There's always challenges, but that's what they are. Challenges are there to be overcome. And if we work together, we can do this. We can do anything. We are the conduits between our community and the council staff. So we need to connect everybody together, build really good relationships everywhere that we can and get things done. I'd also like to echo the words of our incredible council staff that we have. The talent and the skills and the kindness and the patience are incredible and to be respected. And especially being led by Mary, it's fantastic, and I hope that we'll be working with you for many years to come. I'd like to thank the People's Choice team and acknowledge the People's Choice, a fantastic team. Tough campaign, it was really hard, we worked really hard, but we also had a lot of fun in there, and I think you've got to have fun. My whānau, my amazing whānau, thank you very much. They're always there for me, and you're here now, and I really appreciate it. It's hard work bringing up 4 kids, I'll tell you that, but you make it worth it, big time. And thank you, my community, the community of Innis, for backing me again, having faith and confidence in me. I'm not going to run through everything I campaigned on because it's all down there in black and white. I think if it's on Facebook, it's there forever. So you know what I'm standing for, and I will deliver. Nō reira, tēnā koutou katoa.
Now ask Celeste Donovan to come up, please.
Hopefully I don't get this part wrong. I, Celeste Donovan, declare that I will faithfully and impartially and according to the best of my skill and judgment execute and perform in the best interests of the City of Christchurch the powers and authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a member of the Christchurch City Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987 and any other act. tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. He mihi nui kia koutou katoa e kone e tēnā rā. Greetings to you all, and a big thank you to everyone here today, and a big welcome to, I would like to say, not all new faces, but we've got a couple, which is fantastic, but it's really great to come back together as a new council, and also the new mayor, well, not the new mayor, current mayor. Old? Who wears it well. I just want to start by thanking, of course, coming here today is always a team effort, and I've got a lot of support from my friends and family, and I want to acknowledge a couple of them here, well, 3 of them here today. My sister, who managed to make time in a busy schedule, thanks for coming along. My father, Brian Donovan, and Ben Connolly, my long-suffering partner. So thanks to all of you for all of your support. It's been 3 campaigns in 4 years, and I think you can all agree you deserve a cup of tea and a lie down after all of that. I also want to thank the community for their faith in putting me back here today. It means a lot, and I'm committed to doing what we can do to move our community forward together and as a city. Reflecting on the last 4 years, I think it's fair to say that it's been full of highs and lows. Slow work, but you get there in the end. And I feel like we're really starting to turn the corner as a city, but also as a community, and I'm feeling quite positive with the challenges and the opportunities we've got ahead. And like everything, it's been a team effort, so I want to acknowledge staff for all their huge work in the face of challenges, which is often city councillors, and also the challenges we face as a city. It really feels, as others have said, that we're really seeing some real momentum as a city. We've also got some big challenges, and I think it's important we face up to those. Ageing infrastructure, we have a housing crisis, and we also need to tackle issues like climate change head on. We have to also acknowledge we don't have all the answers, but we owe it to the community to stand tall, be honest, and listen to their views as to where we go from here. I would like to also acknowledge the outgoing people like Sarah Templeton, James Goff. They've had a huge amount of mana, and just appreciate the fact that others have acknowledged them. I would also like to just talk about where to from here. For me, the priorities are making sure we deliver on the promises we've made. I'd like to see us delivering on our transport infrastructure across the city, and making sure that we continue to support our communities. We're all facing challenges, and making sure that there is an equitable investment across the city, and that means maintaining funding and support for everybody. We've made progress, but there's still more to do, and I'm ready to get on with it. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa.
Tyrone Fields, please.
I, Tyrone Stacey Fields, declare that I will faithfully and impartially and according to the best of my skill and judgment execute and perform in the best interests of the City of Christchurch the powers, authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a member of the Christchurch City Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987 or any other act. Very good. Kia ora. Tēnā koutou katoa, ko te ahu pātiki te maunga whakarurihau, ko whakaropo te moana, whakaroora, ko Tyrone Fields, toko ingoa, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. I just want to extend a hearty congratulations to you, Your Worship, on your re-election. I really look forward to working with you, and I'd like to echo the sentiments that you and many others have made, firstly about the work that staff have done for us all and for our departed colleagues. Well, departed, that's maybe not the right word, but Sarah and James, who were really, really great to work with, and welcome David and Nathaniel. So 3 years ago, set out on a journey across Banks Peninsula. What a journey it's been. I've driven and walked and biked probably all the roads in Banks Peninsula, including a few that don't technically exist. I've stood in every community hall, sports hall, more than a few hallways. I've been welcomed onto marae for happy occasions, solemn occasions, educational occasions, and on every occasion I've enjoyed being in the whare kai. It's a great place to be. So Littleton to Little River and Le Bons, it's really met some incredible people who care about their land, the water, the environment, and their community. And my commitment to Banks Peninsula, I'm sorry to tell you, Phil, has only deepened. I can see you rolling your eyes, but no, hear me out. So I truly believe that Christchurch is at its best when it has the peninsula at its heart, when it draws from our sense of belonging and creativity and our deep respect for the natural world. And I think together we can, all of us here can shape a city that's genuinely people-centred, sustainable, equitable, and alive with energy and imagination. And I know this council can definitely work together to achieve all of those things. Now, just a few thank yous. I've handed out quite a few hugs lately to many people, so hopefully I've covered most people. But so if I miss people, hopefully I will hug you at some stage. But to my extended family, basically the ones I spend Christmas with, a couple are here today, Angela and Luca, lovely to have you here. Your support and huge sacrifices mean absolutely everything. Just a special shout out to my big brother Justin. He gives up so much time. He's a very busy man, but he gives me so much of his time, keeping me motivated, driving me around the peninsula, and giving me the dreaded Wednesday afternoon phone call to make sure I'm meeting his expectations. Think of the relationship between the trainer and Sylvester Stallone in the first Rocky film. It's very similar to that. But politics is really, what we do as a team game, and I just want to thank everyone who supported me, especially the ones who copped a spray or talked me down during bouts of candidiasis. So thanks Mel, Jake, Taylor, Paul, Tracy, and others I've probably forgotten, but coffee too. And I want to also acknowledge my overworked and underpaid community board colleagues, so I hope the Remuneration Authority is listening to this broadcast. I'll be lucky to work with many of them again. Dr. Nigel Miller, in particular, I want to acknowledge, who's just been elected. He walked the streets of Littleton Harbour with me and endured extended debriefs with him and with my brother and me. And just all the people on the peninsula who offered messages of support, who helped to deliver letters, who sat in the back of Civil and Naval peeling and fixing stamps so I could get letters into a postbox before the last pickup of the day. Just a most heartfelt and sincere thank you to everybody there. We've got lots to do. Christchurch is great. I'm looking forward to getting stuck in alongside our mayor, my colleagues, and most importantly, the people who call Banks Peninsula and Aotearoa home. Ngā mihi nui, tēnā koutou katoa. Kia ora.
Hello, I'd like to welcome Tyler Harrison Hunt up to the lectern, please.
Ko au, Pari Tyler Deacon Harrison Hunt, me taku kupu tēnei. Ka tūtiki I aho, ki tā koe pono nei, ka wenga katoa, hei painga mō te taone o Otautahi I runga I te manakua riro mai I aho. Hei mema o te kaunihere o te taone o Otautahi, nā te ngā kaupai, o te ture, kāwanatanga ārohe, ruamano mārua, te ture pārongo, huinga o kawa, kāwanatanga ārohe, kōtahi mano, iwarau, waru te kaumawhitu, me ētahi atu, ture rānei. I, Pari Tyler Deacon Harrison Hunt, declare that I will faithfully and impartially, and according to the best of my skill and judgment, execute and perform in the best interests of the City of Christchurch the powers, authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a member of the Christchurch City Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987, or any other act. Tēnā rā tātou katoa and salamu alaikum. When I first started my term in 2022, I made promises and those haven't changed, and hopefully I have. I want to firstly thank the People's Choice Movement, to our volunteers and to my colleagues, all of our council colleagues. I want to thank you all. You poured your time, your effort and belief into what we're building, and I'll never forget that. I also want to thank a colleague of mine with immense gratitude, and that is Sarah Templeton. I sat next to her for 3 years, and I learned so much from her in the way that she was able to put her eagle eye on the smallest indiscrepancies in any report. It made my job a lot easier, and having her as a mentor made it a lot easier for me in my first term. I'd also like to thank staff. I managed to achieve a significant amount because of the support that you've provided myself, and also the support that you've provided my family by working around all of my extracurricular activities with my whānau. I'd like to thank the people of Riccarton for their belief in me and for walking alongside me throughout the last 3 years, and it was the hardest 3-year interview I've ever had in my life. And I also want to thank mostly my colleagues. You've all taught me something, no matter who you are and where you're from. There's always gold nuggets that you teach. And I'm looking at Andre more having a giggle there. But I'd like to thank my family, and they're over here. And they've been with me every step of the way. Through the late nights, the 60, 70 hours that I've been outside of the house, they've always been there. And to my wife, who turned me from a high school dropout to, actually twice, to a city councillor. That is all thanks to my wife. She was dedicated, hardworking, and she always pushed me to be better than I was yesterday. So thank you, Saba, to my wife. And leadership to me has never been about sitting in our ivory tower on Hereford Street. Leadership to me is about getting your hands dirty, and most of those who know me know that I don't usually wear a suit when I'm out and about. I actually wore gumboots to a meeting once because there was a flood in Riccarton. But it's about showing up and being present for those who are there. And I remember doing this professional development piece last year, and I called all of my colleagues. And I called them, and I'll just tell you the nice parts they said. I said, what are some strengths that I have? And they said, well, Tyler, you're really empathetic. And then I asked my colleagues from the other political persuasion, and they said, Tyler, you listen too much. And that's what I want to keep bringing into this next term. And whether the people voted for me or they didn't, I want to promise you that I walk beside you. Whether it's from a burst water pipe to a tree that's over their fence, it doesn't matter. I'll be there right beside you. And over the next 3 years, I hope to collaborate with all of our colleagues like we have over the last 3. And it's been an amazing, amazing 3 years. And it is an honour and a privilege to always be sitting in this seat. And I count my blessings every day being in that seat in the council chambers. And finally, I want to honour those who came before us. Those who made decisions for the best interests of the city, and those made decisions for the best interests of their whānau. And there is a saying in Ngāi Tahu, where it is mō tātou a mō ka uri a muri ake nei, which means we make decisions for us and for those that come after us. So in 20 years' time, I want my daughter to look back on 2025 at her father and say, that was my dad, and he made the right decisions. And in 50 years' time, I hope my grandchildren do the same. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, kia ora mai tātou katoa. Thank you so much.
Okay, Victoria Henstock, please.
I, Victoria Marie Henstock, declare that I will faithfully and impartially, and according to the best of my skill and judgment, execute and perform in the best interests of the City of Christchurch the powers, authorities, and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a member of the Christchurch City Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987, or any other act. My speech was sitting on the table and Phil's just told me he's changed a couple of words, so I'm not quite sure what's coming up. Kia ora koutou and good afternoon. I'm absolutely delighted to be here serving a second term as the councillor for Papanui, and this is a privilege that I do not take lightly. And firstly, I would like to thank the people of Papanui. Some of them are here in the room today. Thank you for entrusting me with your vote. I promise to continue to work hard for you, for the people of Papanui, and for our city. I will keep asking the difficult and sometimes uncomfortable questions. I know you're trying to take me down a little bit there, Phil, and soften it up a little bit, and I will do my best to be not quite so blunt sometimes. But I will hold us accountable for how we spend public money, and I will always put people at the centre of everything that we do. Today I would like to acknowledge my husband Michael and my family and my supporters. Some of you are here today, and I thank you for joining us today, and I thank you for helping me to be re-elected. It's been said already today, but Christchurch is a city on the rise, and there's absolutely no doubt about that. We are reading about it in the media every other day at the moment. We have incredible momentum, and there's an energy about us, and I think that there's a growing sense of optimism and pride, and you can feel it. And this really is what the post-earthquake blueprint imagined for our city. And I would like to acknowledge the former leaders, both of our city and of central government, who made some of those really difficult, tough calls, and those who had the vision in shaping the Christchurch that we are seeing today. So, our responsibility as the current city councillors is quite simple. Don't mess it up. it's our duty and our responsibility to do justice to that vision and to keep Christchurch moving forward in a positive, sustainable and affordable way. I'd like to congratulate Mayor Phil on your re-election and my colleagues, and welcome our new colleagues Nathaniel and David. And like some of the others have said today, I recognise that we will have some difficult decisions ahead of us, this is without a doubt, but I am confident that as a team, we will work well together to get through those issues and to keep our city moving in a really positive direction. So I'm absolutely delighted to be here. It's wonderful to see you all, and I really look forward to getting on with the job.
I'll now call on Nathaniel Hurst-Jardine, please. Welcome.
I, Nathaniel William Edinger Hurst-Jardine, declare that I will faithfully and impartially, and according to the best of my skill and judgment, execute and perform, in the best interests of the City of Christchurch, the powers, authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a member of the Christchurch City Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987, or any other act. Kia ora everyone, thank you so much. It is such a huge honour to be chosen by the people of the Heathcote Ward to represent them at this council. As a teenager growing up in Christchurch, I, to be honest, always dreamed of moving somewhere far, far away and moving to a city that was that I felt was vibrant, that was growing, that was full of arts and events and culture. It was full of people that were positive about the future of the city. And as a naive teenager, 18-year-old, I moved away. I was away from the city for a long time. And it's only when I came back to Christchurch in 2020 that I realized that Christchurch was that city. And I'm so grateful to all of the people that made Christchurch the way that it is today, that made it such an exciting place to live, that made it such an exciting place for us as city councillors, as the mayor, to govern over the next 3 years. I'm so excited about the future of the city, and I really can't wait to start tackling all the problems that we're going to be seeing, I'm sure, over the next few years, knowing that it's just going to be getting better and better as a city. I also want to thank all of the supporters I had throughout the campaign, starting with my wife Claudia. When Phil, you mentioned the importance of patience, our eyes met across the room, which I think says a lot. Also want to thank my dad Ralph and all of the supporters we had, all of the people out door knocking, delivering leaflets, doing phone calling. I want to thank especially the workers of Littleton Port that trusted and supported me very early on, that hosted billboards on their fences, that put them up and took them down. Then as now, I'm deeply committed to a working port that provides good, safe jobs now and for future generations in our city. And I also want to thank everyone that opened their doors to me throughout the campaign when I was out door knocking and told me the stories and the concerns that they had living here in Christchurch. People in the city I found were worried that often as a city we're building not for families, not for retirees, but for profit. I found that people like me care deeply about the river that runs through our ward, about the hills, about the estuary, and they wanted to improve the natural world around us and make sure that it returned to a state where we could explore the forests on the peninsula, that we could fish and swim in our rivers. And I also found people very frustrated about the outsourcing of our services, about the disconnect, the siloing and the expense and the low quality of a lot of the outsourced work that we've come to rely on as a city. And it's those concerns, it's those stories that I am going to be focusing on that are going to form the basis of my work for the next 3 years. To my now fellow colleagues, my fellow councillors, and also Mayor Phil, I'm so excited to be working with you all right from that first photo shoot at Phil's house on my lunch break from my last shift as a punter. Everyone was so friendly, so welcoming, and I know I am the newbie at council that has the most to learn, but I'm going to do everything I can, and I'm really ready to work and to share in the governance of the city. I'm really excited about it. So thank you, everyone.
Right, Jani Johansson, please. Welcome.
I, Jani Johansson, declare that I will faithfully and impartially, and according to the best of my skill and judgment, execute and perform, in the best interests of the City of Christchurch, the powers, authorities, and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a member of the Christchurch City Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987, or any other act, and I will always respect and honour Te Tiriti a Waitangi. Kia ora tātou, ko Araki te moanga, ko Takaro te awa, ko Johansson taku whānau, ko Jani taku ingoa. First off, can I acknowledge Ngāi Tuahiri and the local mana whenua. It's so good to see you here. And I just have to say, as a councillor who's been around for a wee while, the amount of work that you do, supporting us in the work that we do, we are eternally grateful for that relationship. And I see you so often at so many different places. Thank you so much. I am Jani Johansson, City Councillor elected for the Linwood Ward, and yes, the longest serving City Councillor. And you might ask, why would I want to continue? And I'll get to that in a little bit. I just want to congratulate the Mayor and my colleagues, and actually all the people that stood in the local body election. Our opponents who were unsuccessful play an important part in our democracy, and I acknowledge them for putting their hands up and holding us to account. It's been just over 15 years since the first earthquake in September 2010, and Christchurch has been on a remarkable journey of recovery, rebuilding, and regeneration. And I want to begin by acknowledging the wonderful work of ordinary people doing extraordinary things to overcome the adversity that we have faced. So many people have made so many positive contributions to our communities for us to be able to enjoy the city that we do today. I especially want to thank the numerous council staff and the varied council companies who have worked tirelessly to keep our essential services going and future-proof the city for the generations to come. Just today, we recognised and farewelled Louise Walton, a council staff member who'd worked for us for 12 years. And if you ever want an indication about the importance of our staff to our city and to our council, then listen to the words that were said at her farewell. Incredible woman who gave up so much to work for us and help us through some of the most horrific times that we've been through.
Also, just last week, a number of our council companies celebrated their AGMs. And if you want to see the importance of our council companies, just listen to the stories of their successes and the contributions that they give us as a council. Perhaps no other city in the world has been through the disaster, the terror, the trauma that we have. And yet there is no other city in the world where I would rather be. It's a special place to live, work, play, and raise a family. I am grateful and humble to be here, and I thank the community for the support that they have shown in me as their local elected representative. Sincere thank you to the Labour Party, to the campaign volunteers, my friends and my family for the support, and to my opponents that challenged me. I do want to acknowledge, though, that while many in our city enjoy much prosperity and success, there are some communities that have suffered, particularly in the east. There are suburbs and people that have had to unfairly put up with things, and now it's time for council to address the harm caused in a meaningful and timely manner. We need to do that with action, resources, and investment rather than just words. The environmental inequity that exists on this side of town is inherently unjust. From the broken roads and footpaths, the flooding, the offensive injectable odours, the dust and heavy particulates above safe WHO levels, the loud noises, the vibrations, the sleep deprivation, the polluted urban waterways too unsafe to swim in, the lack of green space, the loss of trees, and the intensification of neighbourhoods with poor urban design, to the growing gap between the haves and have-nots, we must do better. I look forward to building on the progress of work started but not yet complete. That's why I chose to stand for re-election, because there's things that we've started that we haven't finished, and I want to see them through. My priorities include increased investment in infrastructure, removing chlorine from our drinking water supply, moving the organics plant and replacing the wastewater trickling filters, improved land use planning in industrial and intensification areas, finding more affordable and sustainable ways of doing things without losing local control of our strategic assets, and addressing homelessness and housing affordability. In conclusion, every single day we are in elected office, we are privileged to be able to work on behalf of our communities and the city to try and make Christchurch a better place for those who live here and those who visit. Putting people at the heart of how we do things is just as important as the things that we do. It has to be about more than just speed humps. We need to bridge the divide that is occurring in our society, and the way we do that is by bringing things together rather than tearing things apart. We have to make a choice. Either we want to live in a toxic society or we don't, and if we don't, then we need to start listening to locals at the start of our planning processes, at the beginning of projects, not halfway through. We get better outcomes when we are open, transparent, and collaborative. Throughout the campaign, I've heard from people who are frustrated with many things. And whilst we have our challenges that need to be dealt with, I often reflect on how wonderful our place is. Go for a walk along our rivers, or our beaches, or on the Port Hills, or in our parks, or in our botanic garden, and ask yourself, where else would you want to live in the world with everything going on right now? How lucky are we to live in such a beautiful and special place? Yes, there are things we need to do to improve our city, especially when it comes to the basics, but on the whole, Christchurch is a great place, and comparatively, we should always be humble at what we have, never take it for granted, and I'm committed to continue to work collectively and constructively to maintain and enhance our unparalleled quality of life for all. Kia kaha, thank you.
Aaron, you're up.
Thanks, Philip. I was going to leave out my middle name, but Phil's given it away. I, Aaron Vernon Lee Kewen, declare that I will faithfully and impartially and according to the best of my skill and judgment execute and perform in the best interests of the City of Christchurch the powers, authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a member of the Christchurch City Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information Act and Meeting Act 1987, or any other act. Okay, I'll try not to cover off any ground anyone else has already covered off, because if you're like me, your bum's getting really sore sitting where you are. I fidget a lot, so hence why I'm at the back, and it's good to keep moving. A couple of things. I'd like to start by saying thank you to young Philip here and Mary for steering the ship through the last 3 years and into the next 3. I echo the words that someone said before about you reapplying already, Mary, although you weren't at the rehearsal this morning, and I noticed Helen was quick to stand up as the CE, and I thought there's the first application in. So not to give away the game early. Like the others, I'll thank my family, so I'll start with my wife, who, my family aren't here, my son's got cubs and things and they all work, so... But that's not a bad thing. I celebrate that and I thank them for their support. It's a really weird election, having not been elected but still being here. I'm here because no one else ran, which is something I always dreamed of. I remember when it happened to Tim and Jamie a few years ago, and I was so gutted. I was like, oh, how did they get away with that? But then when it happens, it's really, really hollow. I just feel like I've been to the Olympics, got a gold medal because the other person pulled a hammy. But I'm here and I'm looking forward to the next term. To all my colleagues that are back again, welcome back. I note there is no change, and the 2 newbies that are in, welcome aboard. It's actually a really good team. We disagree on some things, but on most things we agree, and you'll find that working with this lot, it's a good representation across the city. And that's what democracy does. It gives us a representation of people with different views, and I like to sometimes change my mind. They call that a flip-flopper, and call me names. That's not the worst name I've ever been called, to be honest. And I'm happy to change my mind when one of my colleagues comes up with a better argument, and sometimes they do. And so at the debating table, that does happen. I just want to touch on a couple of things. A number of people have mentioned the problems we face as a city and a world. I'm a little bit different to other people. I don't see us at the city having any problems, or the world. I just see a whole lot of solutions that haven't been opened up yet. And that's what Christchurch does. It comes up with solutions to problems. We've got incredible companies here, incredible people, and just when you look throughout history of some of the great things people from this city have done, we punch well above our weight, and I think it's time we did more of that, from what our city's been through to where we can go, and we can help solve a lot of the world's problems. After the earthquake, a few years ago, 15 I believe it is, the second time round when we had the really big quake which destroyed the inner city and it was all blocked off and things like that, we had our first meeting once the disaster thing kind of settled down a little, and wasn't a real meeting. It was a social get-together at Bob's house. Bob Parker was the mayor at the time. He lived, ironically, just over the fence from where Parakiori's been built, and we met there and they said, bring your dreams or aspirations and things, and let's discuss what our city could look like. And I walked in with this bunch of pictures. The others just all brought wine, and it was, and I thought, oh, that's how you solve the world's problems. And we all got to stand up and talk to each other as colleagues about what we could do for the city. And I held up these pictures of buildings with green walls on the side and bits of art and trams going down the middle of streets and things like that. And it was really, really weird, because then when we did share an idea a few months later, it felt like a lot of the public were feeling the same sort of things. Which leads me to the one thing I want to work on this term, and that is making Christchurch the greatest little city in the world. And the reason why I use that term is, at that meeting that day at Bob's house, I said, why don't we rebuild Christchurch and be the greatest city in the world? And a couple of the councillors cut me down pretty quick and said, we're not big enough. We can't be one of the greatest cities of the world. That'll always be go to places like New York and London and Paris and things. And I thought, well, why can't we be the greatest little city? And there's a lot more little cities in the world than there are the great big ones. And I want us to be that. And so on that, I'm going to say that over the last year or so, Phil and I have been working behind the scenes. You probably didn't expect me to say this today. Behind the scenes on something we want to share with the rest of our council in the coming weeks, and that is around transport. There's a company in Christchurch that invented a transport system for the Google campus, which can deliver public transport faster, more efficiently, using less energy, more appealing to the public, and at 8% of the cost of heavy transport currently done. And those are the solutions that people from Christchurch can come up with. That company should be celebrated, and we look to sharing those kind of ideas with firstly our city, and then watch the rest of the world follow. Thank you.
Right, Sam McDonald, please.
I, Sam Thomas MacDonald, declare that I will faithfully and impartially, and according to the best of my skill and judgment, execute and perform in the best interests of the City of Christchurch the powers, authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a member of the Christchurch City Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987, or any other act. Well, it's pretty hard to top a announcement at a swearing in, so I've got nothing else in the bank, Aaron, for that, but good on you. Hey, look, thank you everyone very much for obviously joining us today and celebrating this special occasion. Can I first just acknowledge Mayor Phil? I think, to look at the campaign from last time and the campaign from this time and the momentum you've grown, and I think the continued respect and admiration of the people of Christchurch you've gained is fantastic. And I just want to acknowledge Chrissy Major as well. Chrissy has become a really good friend of mine, and she works so hard for the people of Christchurch. Is incredibly understated, but does a tremendous amount that we can all be really proud of. So just want to thank you for all you do. It's a bit weird, a bit like Aaron and Mark. I didn't have a challenger at this election, and it sort of, initially you sort of go, oh great, this is fantastic, and then again, about 2 days after that, you go, this is awful. This is the worst thing out. And I think that's something as a city we need to think about as we look to the next election, is what we do with the representation review, because it's not good enough that we have 30% of the people voting in Christchurch, and it's not good enough actually that everyone isn't challenged, because there should always be a contest of ideas around the city. And can I also just acknowledge the council staff that work so hard on our behalf? There's a good old saying in politics, which is they deal with the bad news, we take the good news. And I think that's been so true over the last few years. Mary and the team work so hard on behalf of Christchurch, and I couldn't be more prouder of how they operate on behalf of Christchurch. I actually think, and Mary hates this because she doesn't like being acknowledged publicly, but I think if you look at the lift in performance of Christchurch City Council over the last couple of years, a large part of that is due to your leadership. Because if you think about it, Mary emails us all at 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night, and I think and is emailing us again at 5:30 in the morning. And she is so dedicated to the city and works so hard that I think the ethos is working through the building. And so our real challenge See, and Mary can't retort this now, so it's fantastic. I might have another 10 minutes. But but our real challenge actually is how we continue to build on that as a city, because if we can get, my goal would be to have everyone within Christchurch City Council working as hard as Mary does, and you think about the productivity and efficiency that would gain to the entire city. So, for anyone, maybe Helen in the room, who's stood up earlier on looking at the employer, there is a challenge to fill those boots, because she does an exceptional job and is a true public servant. And I think that's why we all get involved, is because we believe in public service, and it's so important that we continue to do that. Can I also just acknowledge Sarah and James, who are who have moved on as well. Sarah and I always had differing views, but I have to say I really loved the challenge that we had and the intellect that Sarah brought to a debate, and I will miss that around the table. And James, it's better if I just don't say anything. I think it's fine. Can I also just acknowledge our two new councillors? It is so true what everyone said. There's more that unites us than divides us. And actually, I think probably one of the things I've reflected on over the last couple of years is having the diversity of thought around the table. Maybe it's just because I sit next to Mel, but it's that is having a different perspective is really good. Because we all come from so different backgrounds that actually there's things, I hate to say it, that I don't know or haven't thought about. And it is really good to have that. So, my hope is that we continue to just keep working really well as a team. You look at the result, the city backed the team that were here, and so we have a huge responsibility to get on and continue to deliver. We've got some such exciting things coming up, and I think if we can all dig in and be committed to the city, it'll continue to grow. So thanks very much.
Hello, right, Jake McClellan, please.
I, Jake Brocard McClellan Dowling, declare that I will faithfully and impartially and according to the best of my skill and judgment execute and perform in the best interests of the City of Christchurch the power, authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a member of the Christchurch City Council by virtue of the Local Government Act of 2002 and the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act of 1987 or any other act. It's good to be back. I was, when thinking about what I was going to say today, I had a look back in my first speech in 2019, and I thought, what was I thinking? What was I feeling? And I remember talking about Christchurch, and particularly the inner city in Christchurch being on the verge of something great, being that the opportunity was before us and as to grab. And I don't think there's a single person in this room who would disagree that that's now been realised. And I did wonder, I guess it was a moment of trepidation when starting the campaign, thinking, is it just us? Do we live in a bit of a bubble of Christchurch, positivity? Because we all, whether you're staff or you're an elected member, inherently that's what we all do share. But pretty quickly, it became really obvious that the feeling of this city heading in the right direction and the size of the opportunity before us is actually deeply and widely felt. It came across almost in that first session of door knocking. So I think that's probably why the new council looks so remarkably similar to the old council. One other thing I spoke of in 2019 was the need to put investment into Linwood, and actually on the doors this time round, I think people really felt that had happened. They felt that Christchurch was heading in the right direction and that their area was also getting a fair share of that resource. I also want to really thank the staff for your skills, your expertise, your professionalism, and also for your sense of humour as well. you have to sort of bite your tongue a little bit, but we almost can hear the jokes you're thinking of, even if you don't. So obviously I want to thank my friends and my family, campaign supporters. Melanie did a power of work. There were too many people to thank. John, who did some deliveries for me as well. I had one campaign volunteer, Pat, who painstakingly hand-stuck 3,000 magnets to a newsletter I did. And every time, because I brought over the magnets in the newsletters in batches, every time you could tell she was thinking, oh, this will be the last batch, and then there'd be more and more. And then once she finished that task, I said, oh, can you also get out most of these and deliver them? And she did. And so it really does require a lot of people to make this local government election thing work, and I'm grateful of the people who give up so much to help us. John and Sunita, I'm really lucky to have a really strong community board team. We work really well as a team, and I'm grateful of them. Sarah, James, I'll miss them both. They've both contributed enormously to the city, and that upset is only mitigated by the fact that I get the opportunity to get to know Nathaniel and David, and I look forward to doing that both as colleagues and as people as well, because you bring so much of who you are as a person to this role. People's Choice, yep, thank you I think I've kind of done that, and I think that's everything. Yeah, thank you.
Andre Moore, please. Not Andre. Not allowed to say that, are we, mate?
I, Andre Moore, declare that I will faithfully and impartially and according to the best of my skill and judgment execute and perform in the best interests of the City of Christchurch the powers, authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a member of the Christchurch City Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987, or any act. Well, first of all, I would like to thank the 7,513 people who supported me. It means a lot. I would like to thank my mum and dad who are here today. They went all the way to Romania looking for a daughter and somehow ended up with me. I'll take it. Thank you, Mum, for always teaching us what to do. Thank you, Dad, for often teaching us what not to do. It's actually a genius parenting formula when you think about it. Me and Dad have been having robust political debates for quite some time, for many, many years. And I'd just like to say today, Dad, that after winning 3 elections quite convincingly, I feel like the people have spoken and I've won that debate. I'm often asked what got me into politics. I potentially trace it back to year 10 when I ran for class captain. I ran on a clear promise of delivering a pizza party in my first 30 days. Sure enough, I won in a landslide, and I did deliver that pizza party in the first 30 days. Sadly, I was later removed as class captain for ongoing misbehaviour. I didn't have the Local Government Act 2002 or a code of conduct to refer to, so how was I to know what was appropriate classroom behaviour for a class captain or otherwise? We live and we learn, but I believe it was one of the most unjust breaches of democracy of all time. I'm getting removed from my rightful position. So I'm not just in this job now for retribution, but I think about retribution every day. But moving on from Room 10RG, I'm extremely excited about our city and our future. They say Christchurch is back. I think it's the understatement of the century. It's coming back bigger and better than ever. I am, of course, wearing my trusty Warriors tie again this year. Yes, their performance has greatly improved since I became a councillor, just coincidentally. I'm confident that we'll have our own NRL team here in 3 years' time that I'll be able to enter a non-monogamous relationship with. I might even own 2 ties and bring that on. We do, of course, have a world-class new stadium opening up down the road, but what's actually been built is a world-class city experience for our residents and our visitors. When a visitor visits this city, they can step out of their hotel room and walk past beautiful green spaces, a beautiful river, beautiful jaw-dropping art and murals, and people are actually being totally blown away by what they're seeing. We've got the looks, we've got the personality. Now it's time to make our city vibrant in both the daytime and the nighttime and take us to that next level. And it's not just visitors, people are wanting to move here and indeed already moving here. Our population is going to go gangbusters whether we like it or not. Our quality of life here is comparatively very high. And if you think that's going to stay a secret forever, you're soon going to stand corrected. We need to plan a city wisely that strives to be our own identity, of course, but aims to be something like a mini Melbourne and certainly not a sprawled out mini Auckland. We need to prepare for growth. We need to prepare for growth in our long-term plan. We need to prepare for growth in advocating with central government. Valuable lessons I've learnt in foresight. A couple was the fact that it was only a few decades ago that the council tried to sell off big chunks of Halswell Domain and the Halswell Quarry Reserve. There were no identified uses for them at the time, but sure enough, fast forward to now, they're viewed as must-haves, they're not viewed as nice-to-haves. It's thanks to the advocacy of locals that we kept those, and I thank them for it. Every decision that we make needs to be with the next 30 years in mind, not just the next 3 years in our political cycle. We often look back at the big decisions in this job, and we look back and we criticise because hindsight is everything. You always know better now, and that's easy to do, often fun to do. But our real job here is foresight. So the question we've got to ask ourselves every day is: will councillors be standing here getting sworn in 30 years' time, thankful for the decisions that we made, or will they have to be picking up the pieces for that lack of foresight and paying the price? And indeed, will our residents have to be paying the price as well? Thank you very much.
Okay, Mark Peters, please.
I, Mark Peters, declare that I will faithfully and impartially, and according to the best of my skill and judgment, execute and perform in the best interests of the City of Christchurch the powers, authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a member of the Christchurch City Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987, or any other act. Tēnā koutou katoa. Not sure I'll stick to the speech that I prepared. I'll meander around and see where I land. Like Sam and Aaron, I had the really unusual landing back here around the table and being elected unopposed, which was quite surreal and not quite sure yet how to take it. My spin on that is that, hey, I think I must have been doing a good enough job that no one needed to challenge me. So here's hoping that was true, and I'll continue to do everything I can to represent my community. I'd like to acknowledge my colleagues and welcome Nathaniel and David. Welcome to the fold. And thanks to Sarah and James for the service they gave. They were really dedicated and committed colleagues who I think we will miss around the table. But hopefully with the two new representatives to replace them, we'll have just as good a representation. So looking forward to working with you two guys. I'd also like to acknowledge the support of my fabulous family who are here today. My wife, Nick, and my daughters, Sophie and Abigail. Thank you for your understanding of the hours that I'm not present and for the work that has to happen. Thank you very much for your support. It's truly appreciated. I'd also like to acknowledge the support of my church family at the Hope Presbyterian in Hornby, and particularly Pastor Marty Redhead. His support and understanding of what I'm doing is really appreciated, so thank you, Marty. Thank you also to the many supporters in the Hornby community. I value your support and encouragement to keep doing the mahi that needs to be done for Hornby. I truly love listening to what you need and advocating to try and get and deliver that to you. The past 3 years started off as a really steep learning curve. When you first come on board as a councillor, it's like drinking from a fire hydrant. It's really tough. It's all there and you've got to try and understand and put your feet on the ground and start running. So you've got some interesting times ahead there, Nathaniel, so we'll try and support you every way we can. Over those last 3 years, we had some pretty strong delivery in my community, and I'm thankful to the team for helping with that. The Maratiki Hornby Centre is making my community truly smile, and that is really appreciated. It's been many years in the making, and honour must be given to previous representatives like Jimmy Chen and Bob Shearing for helping to get those conceived and kept on budget and delivered. Hornby really does thank you for all that you've done. And I think in Hornby we've got an interesting challenge that we're the industrial corner of town. We've got a lot of infrastructural needs that we need to keep working on and keep getting delivered. So my commitment to Hornby is to keep these things front and centre of council and to make sure that we're not forgotten out there in the southwest. We're the piece of Christchurch that a lot of people touch as they pass through. They don't often stick around, but when they do stick around, we want them to have a good impression and we want them to really think that Christchurch is a great place, because it is. One of the things that my family, when we arrived in Christchurch over 20 years ago, was Christchurch is a can-do place, and I think we lost that for a little while around the earthquakes, but I think we've got it back again. And to see Christchurch flourishing and thriving the way it is, to see our stadium about to be opened, Parakiori about to be opened, we've got some good things happening and we've got some good challenges ahead of us. One of the challenges we have is right out the window here. The heart of our city is broken, and we as a city need to work together with central government to try and find a way to fix this and to allow our city to move forward and to actually feel like we're functioning again with a heart that truly represents our city. So that's one of our challenges. The other challenge I do pick up on, Aaron mentioned there about the transport. We need to get our city moving. Our city deserves to be able to commute around and get around without the impedance that we've had with some of these things like speed bumps. We heard about that during our campaigns. Even when I wasn't campaigning, we still heard about the speed humps. So as a council, I'd like to see us work together well. We've all sworn the same oath here today, so hopefully we can find a way to work together as an effective council, and I look forward to working with each and every one of my colleagues. And also I'd like to thank Mary. Mary, you have been a really wonderful steadying balance on this ship, and it'll be a shame if you do leave us in the middle of next year. We'll work with you on that somehow. But thank you for everything you've done, and thank you to your staff. You've got a wonderful staff, and I really do commend you. You've built a fantastic team, and I'd like to thank every single one of the staff in the council. You're truly appreciated. The people of Christchurch appreciate everything you do, so thank you.
And last but certainly not least, we've got some bloke called Timothy Peter Scandrett. Welcome.
I, Timothy Peter Scandrett, declare that I will faithfully and impartially and according to the best of my skill and judgment execute and perform in the best interests of the City of Christchurch the powers, authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a member of the Christchurch City Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987, or any other act. Kia ora and welcome. I actually didn't do a speech because after 18 speakers, I figured you'd all go. I would have. Look, it's, we've talked about a lot of things. And what now? I've listened to the cheap seats. Every time someone spoke, they gave ideas of what we should say. So thank you. I won't listen at all, though. First of all, I want to congratulate Phil on re-election, so thank you. Mary for putting up with us all for the last 3 years and forward into the future. To our two new members, David and Nathaniel, welcome. It's kind of like a very weird family, but it is that. We actually, once the argument, etc., which is really, really good, we do get along, we do go and have a drink, etc., so it's actually just like a real family, really. We've talked a lot about leadership, and what is leadership? I think it's what we do and how we carry ourselves in our communities. I remember over the last 12 years, because I've been here for a while, we've done amazing things. We've got the new stadium, etc. We've got Parakiori, we've got the adventure park. But those things that may not have been in the media, those things that you do with your community and that self-respect and dignity that you carry with your colleagues and in your community and those around you, those strengths. I remember when we had the bad flooding in 2014, I went out with staff because it's easy to make decisions in a room. It's easy not to actually go with staff. But I chose to go with those staff to see every family that was flooded. We also, as a council, made a decision to not to buy out those families that had been flooded underfloor. They were actually the hardest meetings that I went to with staff, to sit with a family with that the water had been lapping under the floorboards and to tell them they were not included. That is hard, and I admire our staff because that is what they do every time that happens. So to those staff, thank you. And to all of our staff, thank you for what you do. I think I'm the only elected member that has been a staff member in the past, and I'm incredibly proud of that, being part of that council family. So to you all, from the coalface at the call centres, the rangers, the parking wardens, right up to the LT, thank you for what you do. Most important, I'd like to thank my wife, Carolyn, who puts up with me and who wakes up and makes me want to be a better person every day. So, Carolyn, I love you and thank you so much for that. And our tamariki, our children, Isabella and George, for putting up with me and reminding me every now and then to say, Dad, should you really be doing that? Which is good. Really good being an independent because you have a very small campaign team that you don't have to actually spend much money on. So to my campaign team, Carolyn, George and Isabella, we're actually going out tonight for tea, so there's going to be a cost to me. You've got to pay for everything. To everyone in my community, thank you for having faith in me. And as I have done in the last 12 years, I will do my utmost to continue my work in the community. And so to you all, thank you very much. Cheers.
That was great, and I'd just like to commend all the councillors for the good, positive words and everything that we've said. To the two new people, we certainly are a family, and it's an odd family, but we do get on. You know, and when you look around at some of the other councils around the country, we certainly get on very well. You know, so long may it continue. Okay. I'm very pleased to announce that I've used my powers under Section 41A of the Local Government Act and have appointed Councillor Victoria Henstock as Deputy Mayor. Would you please come? Right, and now I'd like to just talk about someone we all talk about how we've got everyone that supports us around the place and makes us get up in the morning, thanks Tim, and gives me a clean pair of underpants and a hanky. But I must say that through thick and thin, for the last, six years now, my wife Chrissy, love her to bits, you always want to go home. And that's, I like work, but it's nice to always go home. And it doesn't matter what time of the night it is, and she was, oh, you've been late tonight, or whatever, because I normally give her all of about 3 seconds notice that I am going to be late. But she's always got a smiling face, and my dinner's not on the doorstep. So things are actually working very well. So I'd just like to invite Chrissy up to get the Mary's chains, and looking forward to all what we're going to do in the next 3 years, and all the citizens, I think 14,000 handshakes we're going to do in the next 3 years. So it's good. Okay, so if we could just everyone could just please bear with us for a few moments for the before councillors and the CE we'll get some seats around the council table, and Secretariat will do that for us. So thank you. Just gives a few moments. everybody. We will now move to the first formal report in the agenda. It's item 4, an explanation of statutory requirements, and I'll hand over to Ron to present the report, which we've taken as read, Ron. So, yep. And we will go into questions if there is any, and I'm happy to move it, and Victoria's happy to second it. So the floor is yours, Ron. If you want to say just a quick little bit.
Sorry. Got it going. From my perspective, I wish to say... Sorry, works. I'll just introduce myself to those members I haven't met before. I'm Ron Lem. I'm the manager of the Public Regulatory and Litigation team. To David and Nathaniel, I congratulate you on your rise to elected members, and to the other elected members, congratulations on your return. In relation to the report, I'm not sure as read whether you want to hear any details, so I'll leave it as taken as read. But if anybody wants further explanation, I am available over the next week or so to have a general discussion and further explanation.
Thank you very much, Ron. Has anyone got any questions? No. Okay, so no questions, and obviously there'll be no debate. So I'll put that motion. All those in favour? Aye. Against? Thank you. There's three years. That's carried. 3 years of this going ahead. Right, now we'll now move on to item 6, the appointment of councillors to the community boards, and this is just housekeeping, but it is very important. I'm happy to move it, and Jake is very, very happy to second it. Yeah. Okay, so any questions? Any debate? Right, I'll put that motion. All those in favour? Aye. Against? Thank you. That's carried. Yep. Now. So what are we doing now? We'll now move on to item 7, the date of the first ordinary council meeting. Once again, I'm happy to move it, and Tyler's happy to second it. No questions of anybody, no debate. So I'll put that motion. All those in favour? Aye. Against? Thank you. That's carried. And here we go, closing. So thank you very much, everyone who has attended today's inaugural meeting, to witness your councillors take their oath to serve Christchurch City. I welcome and look forward to us working together over the next term. I'd like to thank Megan and Sam and Mary, even though Mary got me to take her name out, I've put it back in, and the team, because she likes to be in the limelight, and the team on behalf of the council for the work they have done to make this ceremonial occasion run smoothly. And we even had a practice. It was good. Finally, thank you again to our guests, family and friends, for all the support you have provided to all of us individually over the last wee while. I will now adjourn the meeting until tomorrow at 9:30 a.m, Friday the 31st, in the Camellia Chambers for the annual report adoption. I welcome everyone to enjoy some light refreshments. Thank you so much for coming. It's been a pleasure.